hello. This is anime slushy, and I'm Phoenix Feet. It's very nice to meet all of you.
Cube watermelon. Ooh. Hey, it's us, Moe Homura, but it's also Phoenix and Cube.
Yeah, it's us. Episode 10, the big one.
I won't rely on anyone anymore. Pew, 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 pew.
Except I won't rely on anyone anymore except for Kyoko. Really needed Kyoko.
Yeah, the best.
So, straight off the bat, original Homura, or Moemura, as the kids are calling her, thoughts?
I think sometimes she's a little too much. I'm down with the aesthetic of her. I'm down with the shyness and whatnot. But sometimes when they really, like when she's doing the golf club thing, it's a bit like, I get it. Now you're just playing it up for the audience.
I did like the golf club. Just as a gag.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just like the exact animation and stuff of her doing it. So like,
yeah, it is a bit.
Also, when I first saw her, oh god, what's the name of that character? Because, you know, Shaft also did Bakemonogatari not long before this. And there's a character in that named Tsubasa Hanekawa who she has glasses and the two big braids to the side. And they also have the school uniforms with the puffy sleeves. And so I was like, is this just like a character that Shaft really likes to do? It's her again. It's that girl.
Is she the same sort of Ugu as well? Like,
a little bit, but she also has like a sexy, horny cat person inside her, because that's how Bakemonogatari be.
oh, okay.
I think that's also kind of like a trope in Japan with like the big braids glasses girl for the nerd. So I think they were just trying to play that trope again.
Oh, fair.
Also, she has vague anime disease.
Yeah, she does have vague anime disease, some sort of heart condition.
Yeah.
I do like the aesthetic as well, and I think it, you know, in the sense of we've got to get her from one place to another in 20 minutes. It's good to start off with an extreme end compared to what the Homura we've seen the whole time.
Oh yeah, the amount of work they get done this episode is incredibly impressive.
Yeah. But yeah, she is a bit sort of... It never used to bother me before I started playing Magia Record. But when in that game, when you sort of have to spend a bit of time with her, using her as a unit, because she's one of like the first good free unit you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets annoying. It gets really annoying.
Yeah, and of course, like the only character traits she has left by the game are I'm shy and gay.
Yeah.
And that's all I think about.
Yeah, and all of her attacks are squeals. And it's, okay. Now, one other thing I noticed this episode, especially early on, there are a lot of real jank faces this episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it really leapt out at me in like the first, particularly in the first loop. Homura and Madoka are walking down the corridor and stuff. It's just...
Oh, yeah.
Normally, the real jank stuff's reserved for, like, wide shots. But in some of the close-ups, they're a bit off as well.
Yeah, it's interesting also because this episode actually had 4 fucking versions. When Madoka was originally airing, between this one being done and the other 2 coming out, there was that big earthquake and flood. So, like, they ended up delaying the release of this one on TV, and then the other 2 were way delayed also because of all that. But it's like, so this had the original web broadcast, and then it was only shown on one of the 2 channels that it was going to be shown on, and then weeks later there was even more revisions when it was finally shown on that channel, and then there was even more revisions when it was on the Blu-ray.
Oh my god.
So this episode has been revised like crazy.
This must have driven the fans nuts. Like an episode with this much of a reveal and a lore dump.
Yeah.
And like there's like 3 different versions going to air while you're trying to watch the show.
And also, like, so if you were watching it on that other channel, you got this episode and the 2 after it all together, which would have been pretty wild. Just like, oh, there's so much to take in.
Light streaming out of your face.
Yeah. So Madoka saves her from... It's funny because I do like that, you know, I feel like something in Sight would have had like all the other girls bullying her. but they're just overly enthusiastic and it's just too much for her because she baby.
Everyone else is being pretty nice. Everyone's just being nice to her. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just too excited.
They're trying to, like, you know, make her feel welcome.
Madoka save her, and she's like, you can just call me Madoka, and oh wow, Homer, pretty cool name, you should be cool like your name, you should be like, become like the coolest girl, like the coolest.
And she blushes because she's gay.
Ubu.
Well, she says, you can call me Madoka, I'll call you Homura-chan. It would be too rude for her to just call her Homura straight off the bat, right?
Yeah. And for the rest of this episode, Homer will still until a certain point, Homer will continue to call her Kaname-san because she's too polite to be able to do that right away.
Now, as much as the kids are all being nice, I do like that once the kids are on their own, and like we see, like, Homura, who has vague anime disease, in particular a heart condition, isn't able to run very far.
Yeah.
Like, in contrast to the first episode where she was, track legend and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I like that the kids are going, wow, she can't run very far. Wow, so lame. Arseholes?
Oh, that sick girl fucking sucks at sports. This is weird. Loser.
Yeah.
And they're in Bloomers, which is stupid.
Yeah, well.
Stupid anime. Bloomers. Dumb. So here's a question. This episode has a lot of little logistical wonkiness, I think, for the sake of getting everything done that they need to. Like, so Homura gets pulled into the labyrinth instead of getting kissed by the witch. And it's like, why did it just pull you in and is it going to, like, eat you? That's not how we've seen witches work. CinemaSins ding.
Oh, don't do that.
But in the description of the witch, they give an excuse for it because Inu Curry, their description for this witch is named Isabel. I fucking love it because it's all like art themed, And it says, the artist witch, her nature is vanity. Without the slightest doubt, she believes her existence is blessed. Wanting someone to see her work, she often interferes with the human world. Naturally, within her barrier only exists work that you have probably seen somewhere before. To defeat this witch, just bring a well-known critic with you. Because that's something, a lot of theirs have like weird ways to defeat the witches, which is obviously not how you see it work in the show, but I think that's funny.
Cube, is this Alina? That's
what I was thinking. They should have made this the witch form of Alina. That would have been awesome. Instead, they did that virus thing that they had to fix because it was bad. It made me think of Alina because, like, yeah, she thinks her art is the hottest shit.
We do see the witch sort of interfering with her mind as she sort of steps into the labyrinth, which made me kind of think of a witch's kiss without it actually being a kiss.
Yeah, where it's like, why don't you kill yourself, huh?
And she's like, yeah, I should do that.
Sounds good. No, not good.
Favorite track?
It's so good. It's so powerful. Like, as soon as you hear it, it's just like, fuck yeah, mommy time.
Mommy time, but also just like hopeful magical girl stuff. It's going to be a good time.
And her and Madoka together is so nice visually. It's cute. Like, they're both these ranged fighters, and there's yellow and pink, and it's adorable.
As she's walking up to the labyrinth, though, I do like the way that the show slides into things getting darker. The way the tone will just sort of change over, like, one scene.
Yeah.
Where the music shifts a little bit, and the soundscape shifts, and the colors get sort of... I don't know, it's nice.
No, yeah, there's so much about the art direction of this episode that's just... hitting on all fours or whatever you call it, hitting on all cylinders, some metaphor. Yeah. It's really good.
Mummy and Madoka fighting together is nice.
Yeah.
And it does, like, I've said this before, but like, I do like how the earlier loops do feel more like a regular magical girl show. Because, Madoka saying, don't tell anyone in my class. Like, it's just sort of like goofy shit like that as opposed to what comes later.
Yeah, it's so like, oh, what a cool line. Girls are so cool, so magical. Cut to Walpurgis. Oh, mommy's dead.
So, okay, a couple of things about Walpurgis. First of all, Mummy knows that Walpurgis is coming.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she said, I have to get you ready for Walpurgis when they're having tea at Mummy's
place.
I
missed that. Okay, so it is just statistics, I guess.
Yeah, because she doesn't seem to know in any that she's not worried about it in any other timelines, or at least doesn't mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she never uses that as a thing to try and convince Madoka Osaka, like, I'm going to need help with this thing coming up.
Yeah, that sounds like that might be a little bit of a writing oopsie.
Now, the second thing is, Mummy leaves behind a corpse.
Yes.
Both Mummy and Madoka leave behind corpses in this first loop.
Yeah. So I guess their soul gems just shattered, but they didn't quite understand exactly why they had died. Or I guess that might have been when Homura, but they just don't really stress when Homura finds out that destroying your soul gem is what kills you.
Yeah.
Because clearly in the loop where Mommy kills Kyoko, she knows that shattering your soul gem kills you. So I guess it's very possible that they just didn't really cover that, but she figured that out, and then she's been telling the girls in other loops.
Yeah, potentially. I just thought it was interesting because the trouble is you can't have either of them witch yet.
Yeah.
In order for this to work. Yeah. So just luckily neither did.
Yeah, and it's like I was wondering, so like, I assume Madoka was able to kill Walpurgis in that first timeline. I guess it's also possible it just, like, moved on.
That's the thing I wondered about. Because, like, the thing is, you always, in every other loop, you always see the city destroyed. And not just, like, damaged from a hurricane, like, just wiped out, like it's been bombed.
Yeah.
So I kind of assume that they're never able to defeat Walpurgis. It just leaves.
Well, they do sometimes.
Well, yes, there's a couple of times when.
Like even when Madoka kills her and becomes super big Gretchen,
Yeah.
the city's still fucking wrecked.
Or maybe Gretchen wrecked.
That's
Gretchen wrecked the city
possible.
that time.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
Walpurgis is always going to wreck some shit. And then, like, Walpurgis, I feel like everything that you see whenever Walpurgis is around is some mixture of a labyrinth and not.
Yeah.
Because, like, the floating buildings, there's no way that that's something that any person could just go outside and be like, hey, look at that.
Pretty big storm.
Yeah, this sure is a crazy storm with all these trees suddenly. And so that's got to be, like, there has to be some element of a labyrinth happening there.
Yeah. I mean, at some point they say something about, I mean, I might be confusing this with the game, but I could swear earlier on somewhere they said something about a witch that doesn't need to hide in a maze because it's so powerful.
No, yeah, they do say that. So I think, like, probably when Gen was writing it, he imagined it just being a monster running around the town. But then, of course, they had to make it all crazy. So I feel like the best, like, the most cohesive interpretation is, like, some of what you're seeing is physically what the town will look like once it's gone, and some of it is some weird thing that only Mahos can see.
I do sort of wonder if, like, it just never matters because in the end, there's never a timeline where humans have to deal with seeing Walpurgis.
Yeah, so it's like they didn't worry about it too much logistically.
Yeah, like perhaps there were humans looking at those buildings flying around going, fuck.
Yeah, and just like surrounded by those familiars being like, what the fuck? There's an elephant over there.
Yeah, Madoka's first hero's death is pretty cool.
She's rad. I was like, you go, girl.
It is cool, but at the same time, it's kind of funny that like Homura was right from the start. They really should have just left. There was nothing to be done.
Yeah.
There was no good. There was no point in Madoka sacrificing herself there because the city still ends up being destroyed.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if she did kill Walpurgis, I mean, that's still good for everybody.
Yeah, it is. I just don't think she does.
Yeah, we can't say for sure, but it would be weird to me if Walpurgis was still just like off somewhere and they didn't really bring it up. Anytime they're in that realm where they're in like shallow purple water, which I fucking love that environment, but it feels like Walpurgis has been defeated to me.
Yeah.
But then of course that raises the question of like, was Madoka always kind of ridiculously strong compared to other girls? Why was she able to defeat her that time?
Yeah, but that's the thing to me is like later on, you know, Madoka's able to do it because she's strong or has been through a few loops, whereas earlier on, yeah, the idea seems strange to me.
Yeah. So that's also why I always was very fond of the fan theory. That's totally not true, but that Walpurgis is Homura's witch. And that's why Walpurgis continues to get stronger every loop to match Homura, because she's a reflection of Homura.
Yeah.
Which, like, I kind of wish it's like, oh man, I wish the writers realized that and made that what was happening, because that would be rad. Though I guess that would also be kind of like, oh, so it was Homura's fault all along that Madoka, blah, blah, blah. And it gets kind of self-fulfilling time loopy.
Which is an aspect of the story in the end as well, in terms of Homura and Madoka sort of dooming each other in a sense.
Yeah, but at least she didn't start the fire.
No.
It was always burning since the world's been turning.
Spoilers for Magia Record. Have you finished that yet?
Yeah.
The bit where they actually defeat Walpurgis in that game, as Walpurgis is coming apart, you see like the silhouettes of 40 or so magical girls
Yeah.
sort of dancing around it. Is the idea that Walpurgis is actually like a whole bunch of witches sort of smushed together?
I think so, especially just because based on its name, which is like a big gathering of witches. So I do think the like most obvious thing is that it's a collection of witches that have like congealed, or at least it's like a witch that gathers other witches.
It makes itself stronger or something, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, extant media, not in the show, so it doesn't necessarily count. Because, like, obviously, if we counted everything that happened in Magia Record,
Yeah.
it would make Madoka very dumb.
But you do see like those silhouettes of girls in the last episode when Walpurgis and Homura are fighting, and they look like a bunch of silhouettes of little magical girls. So I always did kind of assume those used to be Mahos.
That would make sense.
That's very possible.
So here's the thing. This becomes more of an issue as we get further into the loops. But the timeline.
Yeah.
So there's a month. There's a month from when Homura first jumps back to when Walpurgis turns up.
Yes.
Now, the thing is that, like, in the first loop, Madoka mentions, I've been a magical girl only for about a week, but we don't know when that day is compared to when when the loop starts.
Yeah.
Because Homura has to be able to get, in every other loop, Homura is able to get to Madoka before she becomes a magical girl.
Yes.
So
yeah, presumably like sometime pretty early and when Homer would start looping, like maybe even like the day after she arrives, is usually when Madoka ends up contracting.
the thing is, though, in the main loop that we see, Homura is able to get to school before that happens.
Well, yeah, because like presumably she's been fucking with Kyubey this whole time until
Oh,
her date when she transfers back into school. So Kyubey didn't happen to meet up with Madoka until then.
okay, so she's just been offing Cubays all day, like she's grinding out for mats.
I think so. And it might also be like Kyubey doesn't exactly know what's going on and he doesn't have any reason to think that, like, oh, I really got to get Madoka right now. Like he can take his time. So if he gets inconvenienced and has to come back to her in a few days, that's fine.
I suppose that's true, yeah. I did notice on the calendar you see in a hospital, the 16th and the 25th are marked out. There's a little bit of Japanese next to those, but I couldn't read it.
Oh, shit.
Have you read those?
I didn't notice that, and I don't know if I'd be able to read it.
Okay.
Wait, I'm gonna go right now, actually. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, it has a little Hanamaru on it, and then a star. Oh god, what is that kanji? I don't fucking know.
I did notice on the one marked for the 25th, there's what looks like the little like ASCII symbol for someone sort of like closing their eyes in anxiety.
Yeah.
Which I figure is maybe that's first day of school.
I would assume the Hanamaru would be the first day of school. I don't know. I don't know.
I was wondering if the 16th was like discharge from hospital and the 25th is go to school.
Oh, maybe.
I'm getting stuck in the weeds here. I'm sorry.
Because then that would give her that whole length of time to fuck around before she meets Madoka at school.
Yeah.
Someone tell us who reads the Japanese.
Okay, so loop 1. First off, I love the little jog she does over to Madoka in the classroom.
Yeah. We can be magical girls together.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. She's gay. Like, the first loop where she's super nervous. The second loop, she was totally capable of presenting herself properly just because she's so happy to see Madoka.
Yeah. But also fucking, I've said it before, but she should appreciate mommy more. I understand if she just happens to like Madoka more. Madoka did a little more like directly with Homura, but mommy also saved you too, and you should be excited to save a mommy. Save my mommy.
I was thinking about that because like when she's in the Witch's Labyrinth, the first weapon you see firing is mummies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Madoka was just also nice to her at school, I guess.
Mommy's the one who's helping to train her.
Yeah, the mom is being a little like, pretty good power. You're kind of using it stupid though.
I don't know, man. I like the golf club thing. I just as a gag, like there's something about like that. So this is the best weapon you could find, a golf club.
And it is pretty funny. Like stopping time doesn't even help with that. Like it's
no, it
silly.
just she does sort of like she stops time and gets there, and then is like, what do I do?
I do like the idea that mommy is like, is there a way that you could make your power guns though? Like my power is ribbons, but you know what I did? I figured out a way to make it guns. I think every power should be guns. I fucking love guns.
At first it's not guns though. At first it's bombs.
Yeah, just homemade bombs, which I love.
Also, by the way, where's she making those bombs? She's making those bombs in a normal ass house.
Yeah, she's just at home on the internet.
It's the same house. It just doesn't have the giant, like, scythe pendulum swinging in the background and floating pictures and shit.
Homer, where are your parents?
Where are your parents, and at what point in each loop do you redecorate?
She was always yandere. She kills them at the beginning of every loop just to get them out of the way. Oh my god, it's so dark.
But yeah, her on the internet looking up bomb making.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. The chair witch. I fucking love the chair witch so much.
The fucking skirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, her name's Patricia. This whole scene is, I would think of it so often. Everything about the way it's executed visually is just so fucking rad.
Oh, it's so good.
Obviously, they use the environment for the background in Magia Record because it's so good and poppy.
Mummy pulling the things all together and making a ribbon road. And
the way it looks when Homura stops time.
But also just as like, it's still creepy. Like, that's still a creepy witch. But
yeah.
As Fitz, it's so much lighter. Like, it looks more like a normal magical girl show.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, good job, Inukuri.
I love the way all the loops just sort of tilt I mean, obviously all the loops end badly, but like I love the way that every loop has just gotten worse as things go on, and
Yeah.
darker and sadder, and yeah, ugh.
Because this time Madoka, which is bleh, 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 ugh.
We don't get to see what caused that. I mean, I suppose she just ran out of magic or whatever.
Yeah, my assumption is she just had to use so much magic to defeat Walpurgis that she witched.
We get a quick creepy glimpse at Gretchen.
Yeah, at smaller Gretchen. Yeah, so her name's Creamhild Gretchen, and she just wants to envelop everyone in her safety dress thing. Which I didn't realize her doppel in the game, you're actually inside Gretchen's body.
Oh.
You're inside like her realm. And so you're seeing Madoka like in the core of Gretchen, who apparently like exists in there, but you are encompassed in the Gretchen.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the doppels are a lot of fun in Record. They're one of the only things I think that like are mostly cool.
Yeah.
Did Inukari design most of the doppels, or are they different?
Oh
artists?
yeah. No, yeah, like Inukuri has been much more I feel like they've taken the reins since Gen left. So which is why all the stuff that actually works now is just creepy witch nonsense.
And yeah, and like most doppels in the game are like a half witch, where the girl is just sort of hanging off the bottom of or on top of some sort of thing, usually something that comes out of their hair, but like in some characters' cases, this giant inflatable pig for some reason. So yeah, it's usually this construction that they're at the bottom of that is like a witchy sort of thing, but that you can still see they're in control. But yeah, Madoka's one is so much creepier. There's nothing coming off Madoka. It's just you just end up in this big purple sea, and there's a soul gem floating in the middle, and in the middle of the soul gem is Madoka with a giant hole where her heart is.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah, it's, ugh. Ugh.
Yeah, at first I thought it looked kind of stupid and basic, but now that I understand the concept, I'm like, okay, that's pretty rad. Like her doppel is just so big that it has encompassed the entire area.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Now, when Homura sees, I mean, it's hard to tell with this, but when Homura sees the witch and now understands what a witch is, did she jump accidentally?
I don't know. I assume that she jumped purposefully to go back.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, we just don't see it. This next scene is, I feel, a little like hand wavy logic, where Sayaka's just like straight up doesn't believe her about witches. I'm kind of like, whatever.
I don't know. I could see this myself. I could see Sayaka sort of being unwilling to believe this.
Yeah.
In the same way that she was unwilling to believe Homura in later loops, or just mistrustful, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like because this goes against what she wants to believe being a magical girl is about.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I feel like the dialogue would have to be a bit different for me to buy it. It just can't be Sayaka being like, "Why would Cuba even do that? That's stupid. Shut up, bitch. Also, your bombs keep blowing up on me. Fucking hate it."
There is a dark joke in there about about Sayaka saying, "I don't like these bombs going off in my face," and then what happens later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I suppose you're right. I guess what I mean is like I could see a scenario where this is the way Sayaka ends up thinking.
Yeah.
But maybe, yeah, the dialogue in that scene's a bit weird.
And plus, like this Homura, I can't imagine her really having much reason to distrust her other than like a gut feeling maybe. But, she's not the super antagonistic, fuck you, I'm not going to talk to you Homura yet.
Yeah, like she's not the Homura who's hiding things.
Yeah.
Or has the dead look in her eyes and all that.
Yeah.
I guess I could still see, Sayaka's all about denial.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it makes some sense. It's just not quite right for me.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
But what is great is that it's time to steal from the mafia.
Oh god, it's so good.
Dun da 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 da.
That it's that music while Homura is just very politely putting some swords to the side. Like
it's the best.
She's just being careful.
Yeah, and I like that she's like, I don't need swords. That's stupid. Gun, please. I'm not a fucking nerd. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I also like, the slight differences in Octavia this time. The little Hitomi dances.
Yeah. And this has also some of my favorite action Sakuga when Madoka is yelling at Sayaka trying to make her listen and she's dodging the wheels, and the way that is animated is just so perfect. Animation is amazing. There's
a lot of really good fight animation in this episode, even though we don't really get an entire fight at any point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the way that flows and stuff is so cool.
Yeah. I do wonder why was Sayaka in this loop and not the previous two?
Yeah, it makes you wonder exactly how that all tends to work out. Like, did Homura discourage Sayaka from becoming one before? Or maybe it's just like things, the worse they go, the more that Sayaka's likely to end up mahoing, it's, who knows?
And also, I mean, Kyoko's not present in the other loops too. I sort of wonder, Kyoko being told what's happening and showing up, and Sayaka becoming a magical girl, are all part of Kyubey trying to work on Madoka to get her to become a magical girl. So maybe Madoka would presumably already be a bit more powerful after a couple of loops.
Yeah.
Maybe like they get pulled in once Kyubey makes a more considered effort to turn her.
But this Kyoko is here even though, like, Mommy's still here. So I could see this being a loop where Homura was just trying to get everyone involved. Like, maybe she was like, if I can get everyone here and as a magical girl, then we can all be good and defeat Walpurgis together. I'll call up Kyoko, we'll get Sayaka going.
Yeah, I suppose, but how would she know about Sayaka and Kyoko before this?
Well, that's the thing, like, we don't know if this loop is directly contiguous with the previous loop we saw.
Yeah.
I could see this one being a bit further down the line.
Yeah, to me, like, the place where you can probably insert the most loops is around loop 3. The one where she's trying to do it by herself. I could see her having done that a bunch of times before we get to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. There could be she could have fucked about in this loop too.
Yeah, there could have at least been, like, there could be, I could see, like, 3 loops here, like, enough for her to, like, oh, she knows who Kyoko is, she's seen Sayaka as a magical girl, and she's like, okay, I'm just gonna try to, let's all get the gang together, and then we can do this.
And you would presume she wouldn't give up on trying to get everyone to work together after one try.
Yeah.
She tried that a few times and said, okay, this never works. Sayaka's always a dummy. Mummy doesn't take it well.
Yeah, which is depressing. Like, that would be her trying to do the thing that would work in, like, every other magical girl thing.
Yeah.
Like, if I can just get everyone working together and getting along and all doing their best, then we can do it. And it's like, nah.
Yeah. The power of friendship.
Oops.
Octavia has ended with a bomb going off in her face. I did think it was interesting that this is another timeline where Sayaka doesn't think much of Kyoko, but Kyoko still seems very affected by Sayaka's death.
Oh, yeah, she's like, we're just starting to meet each other. Oh, wait, no, that's what she says in episode 10. But yeah. She's, or I mean, in 12. But she's still, yeah, you can tell. She's definitely... God, I guess there's probably a ton of timelines where Kyoko falls for Sayaka, and Sayaka's just like, what, that crazy bitch? She's weird.
She's got a thing for whatever trope Sayaka is by the end of this.
Self-destructed tsundere.
The voice acting in this episode. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Like this scene in particular, like in a lot of the scenes, but this scene in particular, like when Mummy loses it, when Madoka's sobbing, it's just, ugh.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So Mommy kills Kyoko, and she thinks they all have to die. And obviously it's a little like, oh fuck, she's lost it. That's kind of crazy. But it's not completely crazy. Like, it does make sense. And I hate that it feels like stuff like Magia Record has taken this scene and rolled it into, I guess, Mommy's just a crazy bitch.
Yeah, I don't think it makes a lot of sense that, like, okay, if your number one priority is saving people, then it's like, well, now I know we have to save them from us.
Yeah.
So it's awful. And obviously it's, she's heartbroken and kind of, freaking out. But it's still a bit of a freak out in like...
Oh, defo. It's still like, we could have talked about this a little bit before you started killing people. Jeez. Jeez, Mommy.
But yeah, that close up on her when she turns to Homura.
Oh, yeah. And she does she sucks her lower lip in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really works.
There's lots of really good animation in this one.
Yeah.
As much as some of the faces are jank, there's little bits like that are like, ugh.
Yeah, like a lot of Homura's reaction expressions are super good and stuff.
Yeah.
I've always had mixed feelings about the extent to which I buy Madoka killing Mommy here.
Oh, okay.
Because on one extent, I kind of like it because it's like, yeah, Madoka, you are willing to fucking do it if you need to. But I kind of feel like Madoka's a little too pure to just murder a bitch.
Well, I mean, it's to save Homura, I guess.
Yeah, but still.
But it is like it's a jump, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the thing. As much as the timelines all get darker, I think there's an argument to be made that this is the darkest one.
It's pretty fucked.
Yeah, this is definitely as dark as Madoka ever gets.
Yeah.
Which is why she ends up asking something of Homura that I don't think she would normally do unless she was really put to it.
Yeah, and it's like, you can see why this would be the one that would push Homura over the edge of just completely shutting down emotionally, because it's like, well, that was completely fucked.
Yeah, and now you got to do it again.
Oh, like I love the way that like dead mommy falls over and her gun goes off just like completely in a random direction. There's just something so like, well, that's a body.
Yeah. There is something kind of funny about Madoka's just killed her friend. And she's sobbing and saying, I don't want this. And Homura's saying, it's okay, we can go on together. And she's kind of smiling. And it's like, Homura, you're a bit too happy, man.
Well, I mean, obviously she's putting it on, but yeah, it's still like, Homura, are you sure you don't want to just go ahead and do a little rewindy?
That is the thing you wonder where it's like, as a gamer, if I was in this sort of situation, there's a certain point when you're doing something where you have to do a run in a game over and over again that it's like, okay, this one isn't going to work. Let's just start again. Like, there's certain points you have to hit or you're not going to succeed at the end.
Yeah.
So I always wonder why, like, actually, this brings something up. I've seen some people talk about the theory behind Homura's time stopping and how much time stopping she can actually do. Is that she has like there's a hourglass worked into the thing there somewhere, and she can only stop so much time before she has to loop back and start again. The thing with that doesn't that mean that even if she succeeded, she has to go start again anyway?
Yeah, I don't know. I know that there's some kind of word of God about like she can control 1 month's worth of time, and as the month is progressing, she loses the hourglass, empties out, and then once the hourglass is empty, it resets. So I always got the impression that using her power isn't what starts the hourglass empty. It's just always going to last a month, and she's always going to reset after a month.
Yeah, but that would mean she'd just be looping forever. Like, she'd never be able to get beyond that month, wouldn't it?
I guess presumably she can decide to not if she at the moment it's going to if she really wanted to.
Yeah, but then she's got no time stopping powers anymore, right?
Maybe, but at least then she would still have a hammer space.
That's true. She's still got hammer space and infinite guns.
Obviously, it's very like we didn't worry too much about how her powers would work after that because that's not going to happen in the show.
No. Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next bit, again with the voice acting, Aoyuki going from the sobbing distressed to the incredibly gentle delivery in this scene.
Yeah, that sorrow. And like when she's like, sorry I lied, when she uses the grief seed on Homura, and it's like, yeah, baby. Oh.
Again, with all these things, like the perfect, all of the perfect people being involved in the show, her voice delivery in a lot of key scenes is just so spot on.
Yeah.
Like in this one, it's just so sad and so quiet and like, ugh.
What a pure baby.
Now, when Homura says, here's something I was thinking about. When Homura is saying, what if we just go and destroy the world? Because this sucks.
Yeah.
This all really sucks. Obviously, it makes perfect sense for her to just be like thinking that way after what she's already been through. But do you think like Soul Gem Taint has an effect on your psychology as well?
I don't know. Because to me, that scene reads very much as like, this is fine, like trying to come to acceptance with what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I could see it like, yeah, feeding in upon itself. So it's like maybe Sayaka was becoming increasingly irrational also because her soul gem was becoming tainted, and it's like exponential thing.
Yeah, like because like the taint is sort of you holding on to despair and stuff.
The taint.
The taint, yes.
Wheel of Time.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe that's what they got the idea from. That's you holding on to despair and a lack of hope. And that's the same thing where your soul is. So I always wondered if like, does that actually affect the way you think? And that's why you got to keep it clean. Otherwise, you just end up being depressed.
Yeah, I could see that. Grief
Seeds is an antidepressant. That sounds great.
Hey.
Just suck all your bad feelings away.
That's all it is. They're all SSRIs. Oh, and this is the first scene where Homura finally calls her Madoka when she has to kill her.
And she said, "You called me Madoka. That makes me happy."
Yeah.
As you shoot my gem. Oh, okay. So when I first watched this show, I marathoned it. I just watched it all in one night.
Oh, jeez.
And this was the first point where I had to stop for a little bit. When Homura shoots the soldier, I was like, I'm gonna get a glass of water.
It's rough ass stuff.
Oh, it really is the darkest timeline in a lot of ways.
And like Madoka is holding her soul gem up in her hand, and Homura is like pointing at that, which I like didn't think about the first few times I watched it, because yeah, she's got to shoot that gem. But it's still just like she had to shoot her friends.
Yeah. As much as we're going about Aoyuki, Homura's VA as well. That scream she does is ugh.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like kind of, classy how it like does it in silhouette far away and you just kind of see like the muzzle flash and it's like so much better than if you saw like all the shattering and shit.
Yeah. I guess you can't really call it gratuitous. I don't think it tips over into gratuitous. There's a lot of suffering in this episode, but I don't think it ever tips over into like having no point.
Yeah, for me it doesn't.
You want to be able to feel all this.
You could, like, I feel like with different framing and everything, like a lot of this show, it could have felt totally gratuitous and stupid.
Oh, totally.
If it was like handled less artsy and like animated more stupidly and whatnot, I would be like, this is dumb. But because they just kind of did it just right, you're just like, like it's beautiful and oh look, that's so rad and oh god, jeez.
Yeah. It's just it feels more tragic than anything else.
Yeah.
In a sense, yeah. I think like I was saying before, Madoka dooms Homura here a little bit because, like you said, Homura was kind of almost ready to say, "Well, look, fuck it. I don't think there's anything we can do." And then Madoka begs her to save her, like go back in time and save us.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, now you can't stop now. you don't get to stop now because you've seen the absolute worst end. And like, yeah, ugh.
Yeah.
It's almost unfair in a way.
She probably would have done it for Madoka anyway.
Yeah, she probably would have.
She's a living embodiment of that "do it for her" meme.
You sort of wonder what Madoka would think of her asking that.
Oh, like if Madoka from our timeline could see her asking that from the other timeline and be like, "Don't put that on Homura, me, jeez."
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
The same way that like Sayaka says things she regrets to Homura in our timeline.
Yeah.
Same with Madoka in this one. It's like you don't know that she would have ever have asked that much of someone if she wasn't under this much pressure and so despairing, I guess.
Yeah, and if she truly understood like everything Homura goes through every time that she has to do this.
Yeah.
She's just like, you have some kind of time power. I'm sure it's great. Please do the thing.
I guess in those loops, Madoka knows that Homura has done this before. I wonder if she knows how many times she's done this before.
Yeah, I have a feeling Homura is just like, I'm a time traveler and that's why I know. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I haven't seen you die 20 times.
That's totally cool, Madoka. We're great. It's great. I love you. Mwah, 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 mwah.
But yeah, as you said, time for cool Mura.
Yeah, fuck my glasses. Not cool. Uncool.
Braids, not cool.
Yeah, and then of course super dramatic, take the braids out.
Although brushing my hair to make sure it's all straight, also not cool.
No, it's cool. She flippies it. That's all you need. And then your favorite scene happens.
My favorite loop. It's always my favorite loop. Homura just turns up at her window, holding a dead Kyubey, and just says, "Look, can you fucking not?" and leaves.
Yeah. And of course Madoka doesn't know who she is, so it's just this weird girl standing outside her window being like, "Hey, if someone asked you to do a thing, don't do it." And then she just leaves, and Madoka's like, "What?"
Homura literally turned up and just said, "You wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal a handbag."
And Madoka's like, "Okay."
And to be fair, she doesn't. Like, up until the end.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this when I was watching it. The next scene where Homura goes to the military and steals military-grade weapons this time and is then blowing away witches with, like, portable machine guns and shit. This is the aesthetic that Oscar was going for the entire time, and it never, ever was as cool as this.
Yeah, like, I'm not a gun enthusiast in general, but
No.
this show knows how to make guns cool.
Yeah, no, it did such a nice job in terms of the little upgrades because she's got the little pistols from the Yakuza, but then when she goes full military, it's like there's just these big, nicely drawn. They do all the nice action on them and stuff, and I can totally see why people fetishize guns.
Yeah, like there is something really satisfying to like the mechanical nature of them. Which I think is something that like Nanoha and whatnot also lean into, despite, like they're not guns, but it's that kind of like everything clicks together and then it makes this powerful effect and there's something cool about that.
Yeah. Which again, like Oscar never pulls off.
Right.
Oscar has guns all over the fucking place, but they don't understand what actually makes them cool. They're just like, guns. There's guns. You like guns, don't you?
Yeah, look at it.
Yeah, whereas this one actually, like you say, it takes the time to sort of show them in action and stuff, and it's, yeah.
I was thinking about that also with Mommy's guns because, like they had that really slow shot where you really see the muzzle, or what is it, with the strike lever hits the thing on her guns?
Yeah.
And they do that in episode 1 of the show where you like really see the strike levers hit and there's like the flash and stuff and it looks all cool in this. And then in Magia Record they did it, but it's just like really slow and there's no sense of like the impact of it or whatnot and it fucking sucks. It just really makes you appreciate like how all the little aspects of animation, like it either completely works or completely doesn't based on any number of things.
Yeah, yeah. It sometimes just fails. It just ends up being that's a cool idea, as opposed to you watching something and go, that was cool. You know?
Yeah, it's like, I see what you were going for there, but it just is this very slow motion flash of light. I don't care.
Yeah, because they did. They made Mummy's flintlocks cool as well.
Yeah.
Lots of cool poses, the right way to hold them, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Not
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, she tries to do it herself. She can't.
Yeah, and it's time for the start of the fucking show. Remember the start of the show? We're here. We made it.
Like I said before, I do think this is probably the place where there was a ton of loops.
Yeah.
Like we've said before, but the thing again, apparently, after he said the 100 loops thing, he said there wasn't like he was being a bit facetious.
Yeah, he just meant a lot.
Yeah, a lot. I could see her trying this particular loop over and over again,
Yeah.
thinking she might be able to pull it off.
Yeah, like she's probably found, different weapon caches that she knows how to hit up now and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I like the I like the idea that like every time she's on a timer, like every time that like at some point Madoka's gonna magical girl,
Yeah.
and that's like it's like a ticking clock each time, and yeah, and she can never just like the night of just go tie her down or something. Oh, I suppose Kyubey could just find her. She can't fight Walpurgis and stop Kyubey at the same time.
Look, just lock her in your weird ass guillotine house. Or I guess he can get in there, unfortunately.
Actually, you know what she should do?
Put her in your shield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put Madoka in hammer space. If Madoka's witch likes putting people in her dress so much.
But yeah, I wonder if she can put living things in her hammer space. I could see not wanting to try that.
Yeah.
But you should try it with like a mouse or something at first, see if it's fine and take a look. Do some experiments.
Also, I still just, I know it was in the intro. I know it was in the first episode, but I still just love that Homura gets hit with a fucking building. An entire skyscraper lands on her.
It's a lot.
Yeah, which makes me wonder, like, did she have to, like, go up to the roof once it was on top of her? Like, did she have to, like, walk through the building to get back out?
Well, the original show, like, in the first thing, you kind of see her flying around. Like, she gets hit with the thing, and then she, like, teleport flies to the side, and it's like, she can't do that later.
No.
It's kind of like how she's shooting Kyubey with those purple lasers. It's like, what is that?
Yeah. I was thinking about how we said, there's that bit when, after the fountain scene where Kyubey says, that's the second time you killed me.
Yeah, we do get to see it this episode.
Yeah, Kyubey just sort of swells up and explodes.
Yeah.
With whatever that gun was. What is that gun?
Yeah, show. You're cheating visually now. You're cheating.
Yeah. I do love the way this recontextualizes the first meeting.
Yeah, like you see it from her perspective and you just see Madoka there being like, oh no, this poor creature. And you just know exactly what Homura is thinking and it's rad.
Yeah. You're my only friend. But like, no, I have to behave like this or I'm not going to save you.
Yeah.
And that's sort of, ugh.
Oh, Madoka, you dumb bee.
There's something in there she says about like how even if I'm stuck in this maze forever, which is interesting choice of word considering like there's labyrinths in this show.
I get it. Yeah, and they also bring up mazes in the opening song, which they play at the end of this episode, and it's like, oh, the lyrics were about Homura the whole time. It was pretty good.
You know where else they bring up mazes?
Homura the Brave!
I'll play a bit of Anti up there.
Yeah, and then you can decide for yourself whether it sounds like they're saying Home of the Brave or Homura the Brave.
Yeah. I came out pretty strong on that. I'm not completely sure, to be fair. I will say that if you look on YouTube, where the only copy of Anti-Up that's the Madoka Anti-Up that's up at the moment was not the original one, and the guy in that description has lyrics, but he also says, "I don't know that these are the lyrics. This is just me writing down what I heard." So
yeah,
hey.
so don't use this as gospel.
No,
this is very important study. All right, you're going to talk about the end card now, ain't you?
No.
Oh,
I was going to say the OP playing at the end. Nice touch.
Yes.
The last frame with the girls standing on the skyscraper is still there, but Homura and Kyoko are in it now.
Oh yeah, that's when they finally update it.
The original three are having tea. Kyoko is like standing up there, slightly aside, going, "Look at me, I'm cool," and Homura's staring off in the distance because she's. Ugh.
I remember seeing this image a long time ago, and it was like confusing because like I feel like they released this image before they got to these episodes in the show because Homura looks green in it. And so it's like, is that a green magical girl? What? Why did you tint her green? She's the purple one. I guess it's just like an atmospheric gliding thing.
We've established there's a green girl who will never, ever, ever be a Maho.
She can't be Maho.
Doesn't get to be.
Sawi Hitomi.
Now, the end card.
It's pretty good, right? Pretty amazing art from our favorite Madoka artist.
Who is this artist? Whose friend are they? Why do they keep getting to draw things?
Yeah, so for people who watch the show but don't remember, this is the one that the creator of Oriko, the manga, drew. And so, of course, it looks like shit. I mean, sadly, it looks better than a lot of their other art that they did for, like, cards in the gacha game and whatnot. Like, at least Madoka looks kind of decent. Homura looks like shit.
I feel like this person has a style they're doing, and the style will work for a single illustration sometimes, in like a very heavily stylized magical girl sort of ugu type thing. But trying to get them to draw a comic, oh no. Like the anatomy is always so fucking jank.
Yeah, like they have some stuff where you can tell like, oh, they're really interested in like super bold lines and whatnot. And sometimes that almost works.
Yeah.
But then like, yeah, the boobs and stuff, and it's always, and they don't know how to draw people from the side.
Yeah, like there's so many bad panels in the Oriko manga. I don't think they've done a single good card in Magia Record. They're all terrible.
Yeah.
The ones of that weird little girl, the other one with what's her name, which has got like the weird neck and the slopey boobs.
Yeah.
It's just, ugh, God, they're all so rough. Like, yeah. I don't know how do you commission that and you get that back and you're like, cool.
I always wonder that with gacha games. Like, I know that sometimes they ask for revisions to be like, make this hornier or whatnot, but are they ever like, this looks kind of shitty. Can you make it less shitty looking? I don't want to be rude, but
I mean, they're just money churners. I guess they don't give a shit. Like, that's all I can think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fine. Put it in the game.
But God, yeah, I hate this person's art. I'm sorry, dude. I know you. I'm sure you try your best or whatever, but it's bad.
It's just really rough. The anatomy is always just so rough.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, and that end card gets as close as to working as some of their stuff does, I think.
No, it does. Yeah, again, it's like Madoka, like I don't really like it, but I can kind of see the appeal of the style.
Yeah. Anyway, that's episode 10.
It's fucking episode 10.
That was a big episode. The first time you see it, I still remember that feeling of like just going, wow, fuck. Like, you know, just because you knew she was a time traveler and everything, but just like understanding just how much she suffered.
Yeah, it's cool. And I love the fact that, like, you know, so the beginning of the show did that very typical magical girl thing of it's like having a dream, like a prophetic dream about being a magical girl. And I love it's like, no, that's not what happened. That's literally what happened in a previous loop. And I love that recontextualization. It's sweet.
Yeah. I also do think, considering Madoka does have flashes of remembering Homura, that's part of her remembering.
Yeah, their love has transcended time. Or, I mean, their friendship. Their strong friendship.
Well, you know, it's one way or the other.
You truly were my best friend, Homura. Wink.
Homura's like, fuck.
Yeah, friend zoned by God. There have been memes that say that.
That's the sequel series to God Texted Me. God Friended Me. Is God Friend Zoned Me.
Yeah.
God won't put out.
Very different feel.
Yeah.
Well, soon we'll be bringing it home with the last 2 epis.
A little bit of podcast business. I just finished rewatching the Wave of Velvet anime, Rail Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was thinking of doing a slushie about it. I might, to be honest, I despair at my ability to explain what the hell happened. Because, like...
Now I really want to do a slushie about it.
It's... Fuck. It's like, I really enjoyed the show. I really do like the show. Partly because I like Waver. I like fake crap. And it's nicely animated. The show has a lot going for it. And I definitely enjoyed it a lot more on a second viewing.
Yeah.
I understood more of it the second time.
But
the 6-episode arc that happens on the train that's made by vampires where they collect mystic eyes, because that's a thing, trying to explain the twists and turns in this absolute nonsense mystery plot. I'm going to need to break out flowcharts and shit in order to be able to explain it in a cohesive way, because it's so It's so dumb, but also complicated.
Oh yeah, because thinking about even trying to explain that the episode I saw up to where he solves the mystery with like the people that do the horoscope magic or whatever with the body parts in the house.
Yeah.
A lot of it feels very don't worry about the details. Like he says a bunch of stuff about how their magic works and then he figures out the head has to be here.
Oh no, that's every mystery in this show. The show borrows the aesthetic tropes of a murder mystery, but it isn't actually like a murder mystery you can figure out because like it's all just a mystery until at the end Waver explains how magic works.
Yeah, he's just saying random magic shit and then he tells you who did it.
Yeah. Like you don't find out how they did whatever they did or who was doing it until the end when he says this is how this particular magic works, and it's not something you've ever really heard of before because that's how fate rolls.
Fucking cheaters.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about it. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and on my end, I started rewatching Vivid Red Operation and taking notes for that. So we will talk about these butts.
Oh God,
it's gonna happen. Look, it's gonna be okay. You don't have to look at the butts except for the pictures that I'll put for the YouTube.
I've already seen a few pictures of the butts, like the sunrise in particular.
That opening shot, yes, the sunrise between our butt cheeks. It's a real thing.
It's like we see both butts in that shot, and it's not great. It's not great. Anyway,
it's a real show. Anyway,
yeah. Madoka. We'll see you next week for episode 11.
Yes, good show, everybody.
All right, boy.
Bye.